Hey y'all, sorry. My apologies, my apologies again. I know I'm late. I literally scheduled this live and like literally right before I was getting ready to go live, I got a phone call from work and it was something that I absolutely had to take care of. Even though I ain't on nobody's clock. Okay. But it was an emergency situation that I had to take care of. And I was like, if I mess around and do this live, by the time I'm done with this live, I'll forget. And then so I went and sent the email and did what I had to do first. So my apologies for being late. But like seriously, like I got the phone call at like 2:53 or something. So I had to take care of that. Okay. So come on in. And then I was making tea and the water was boiling over. It was a whole situation over here, okay? Don said I was hoping for a heart and hustle first. I'm doing that next. As soon as I get off, as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to watch Heart and Hustle. I haven't even watched it yet. I'm going to watch it and then I'll do the Heart and Hustle review probably the same time I normally do my tribe meeting. So there's that. And then I think we're doing the Real Housewives of Miami panel tonight. It's not my turn to host it, so I'm not sure. I'll send a text about that. And we'll do Big Brother, but we'll do Big Brother after the eviction. So we'll do Big Brother tonight. Okay. All right, you guys, come on in. This is Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 10, episode 4. Let me say this before we get into this episode. Thank you, Quake. Quake said, I don't even watch this show. I'm just here to support. I know Don is just here to support me too. Hey, boo. Hey, y'all coming in. Let me say this. This episode was terribly edited. That whole last scene at Trisha's birthday party, horrible editing. The way, I don't know who edited that scene, and I don't know why it was so chopped up. But whenever I'm looking at reality TV and these scenes are chopped up the way they're chopped up, it really makes me feel like you curated this moment instead of it being what actually happened. I feel like you're chopping and screwing people's words, you're chopping and screwing the moment so that we're seeing this created moment instead of what really went down. And I know reality TV isn't all reality. I get it. But sometimes you can throw something out and then just record the conversation. But I'll get deep into that when I get there. It was thundering a few minutes ago, but it never really rained. But it was thundering really. It's still a little overcast, but yeah, it was definitely thundering. Okay. So this first scene is the pickup from last week's scene with Marcel, Maurice, Kimmy, and Letitia. Let me say something. So we left off with Marcel and Maurice both calling each other liars. What stood out to me in this scene was Kimmy's confessional. Hey, Powerful, what's up, boo? What stood out to me was Kimmy's confessional. And let me tell you why that's what stood out to me. Because Kimmy said that I've been telling Maurice all of these things for years, but I guess sometimes things come out better when it's coming from a different person. Maurice really values Marcel's opinion. It's still too hot for me to drink. I don't think Kimmy meant it to come out the way it came out, but what I heard was he don't value your opinion, so that's why you've been saying the same thing to him about Monster for years, and he didn't receive it. But when it's coming from his brother, a man, now he receives it. That's what I heard. Now maybe that ain't what you meant, Kimmy, but that's what I heard. Because when you said, "Well, he really values Marcel's opinion," I mean, I don't know about y'all, but that's what I heard. Maybe y'all heard something different, but that's what I heard. Okay. The other thing that came up in this conversation is, Maurice, you are so stubborn. You don't hear anything. And whenever you perceive that somebody is telling you something that you don't like or that you think is a criticism of you, your first response is to be offended instead of processing what somebody is telling you. And in this moment, You're so stuck on not being perceived as a bad stepdaddy that you're not hearing what anybody is telling you. You're not listening to the words that are coming out of anybody's mouth, right? You are only hearing what you want to hear. And in this case, you were like, what do you mean the golden child? I mean, you say Monster is the golden child, but Monster doesn't even have a car. What the fuck does that have? What does Monster having a car have to do with Jaylen feeling like he wasn't treated the same? I mean, did you buy Jaylen a car and that's the comparison? Oh, well, we bought Jaylen a car. We haven't even bought Monster a car. I'm like, is that the comparison? Hey, everybody coming in. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who say, listen, I don't watch this show. I'm here to support you. I appreciate the support. Thank you. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. But I'm really sitting here like there's a part of me right now that's really sitting here like, what are you talking about? You buying him a car has absolutely nothing to do with him feeling like he was treated different. Like, come on, stop it. Like, stop playing. So I don't think Maurice really ever heard what they were trying to tell him. I think Maurice wanted the conversation to be over. Because Maurice is still stuck on, I wasn't treated like that. I raised my kids the way we were raised. And see, Maurice also kept saying, well, I clearly did something right. I clearly did something right. Why? Because Jaylen graduated from college and Jaylen doesn't have a rap sheet and Jaylen don't have 20 baby mamas. So in your mind, you did something right. That has nothing to do with what this man is telling you. And yes, Jaylen is a man right now. That has nothing to do with what this man is telling you. What this man is saying is, I grew up in a household where I felt like I was not the valued child. I don't even think he's saying I wanted to be put above Monster. I think what he was saying was, I don't even feel like I was treated equally to Monster. And the reality is, clearly that's what happened in the house, because Kimmy said she been trying to tell you that. But Maurice, you only want to hear you're great. You only want to hear you did it right. You only want to hear you're the perfect that's all you want to hear. And the reality is, nobody is perfect. Nobody's the best at anything. We all have flaws and fall short. But he just doesn't want to hear that. Anyway, moving right along. I believe he was he was 12? Was it 12? Yeah, I know y'all hate that nickname, Monster. I know y'all hate that. Moving right along. So the next scene we have is Trisha and Ken taking pictures for the photo shoot for her birthday party. I don't care. I don't care nothing about none of that. Next scene. So then I think the hype that Maurice got from the early seasons has swelled his head beyond reason. I don't think so. I think this is who Maurice is, because Marcel even said that Maurice has always been like this. Like, this is who Maurice is. I think that Maurice got away with a lot because we were so focused on Martell and Marceau in those first couple of seasons, that Maurice was seen as the quote unquote good guy because he wasn't seen as a chauvinist like Marceau and a cheater like Martell. You know what I mean? So I think he got away with a lot. I'm going to speak for myself. I know he got away with a lot for me because I was like, I really like Maurice and Kimmy. I really like Maurice and Kimmy. I really like Maurice and Kimmy, until that season. And he brought his ass down here and talked about how even though Kimmy was going through chemo, he still wanted sex 3 times a day. Moving right along. So Ken and Trish, it's her 38th birthday party, and they were doing a photo shoot. She's doing a cowboy theme. Y'all, can we retire the cowboy themes? Like, I get it. Y'all love Beyonce. Beyonce made being a cowboy cool. I get it. Can we stop now, though? Can we stop? Like, can we not do any more? Like, it's like y'all get an idea in y'all head and everybody got to do one. Diddy was having white parties. Everybody had to have a white party. Then people said, well, we're going to be different. We're going to have a black party. Then I saw people going to have a red party. Then we're going to have, everybody wanted to do a 70s party. Then everybody wanted to do a 90s party. I did a 90s party. Okay? I mean, it's like... She looks older than 38. I don't know, child. She says her 38th child. That's what she said. That's what she said. Moving right along. So then we had Maurice, Marceau, and Jaylen sit down. And basically, I feel like Jaylen didn't say anything different that he didn't tell Maurice the first time. I feel like Marceau was just there maybe for moral support. And Jaylen told him, Jaylen was like, listen, whenever you come up with something, it always ends up being a dictatorship. Like, you're telling us what to do. Like you want to do a family business, but you really don't want to have a family business. You really just want a business where we work for you. And I was like, I know that's right, Jaylen. You better let him know. And Jaylen once again reiterated the golden child piece of it. And again, they talk. Do I feel like just like he was like he the only person that hasn't been past Jaylen's house, his investment property. He's talking about someone I was waiting to be invited. So then, we found out that Jaylen got offered a job to go to Colorado, and he accepted it, and he got to leave by the end of the month. So I guess Jaylen done left, honey. I guess Jaylen is gone. He done moved. I don't know if Jaylen should have taken that job, and here's why. I do not have all of the details. I don't have all of the details. But what I did hear was that he was taking a pay cut to move across the country. It said, I guess, for him to get into the field that he wanted to get into. But this is the reason why I say I don't feel like he should have taken that job. Other than maybe he just wanted to get away from that environment. And that's always a great thing. To want to move and spread your wings, get away from an environment, that's fine. Here's the reason why I say I did not feel like Jaylen should have taken that job. Number one, if you were already working in a job in IT, moving away to still work in IT and take a pay cut, that's, to me, now, if that were a job for you to get in because you weren't in IT and you were trying to get into IT, that's different. But you're already in IT. You're already working in IT, and you had other businesses. Like, you were trying to start your investment property business. Now, granted, I'm sure that Kimmy is going to make sure that everything is everything with his investment property, and he's not going to lose anything. But I feel like you were starting your own business. You were already working in IT. You clearly were making an okay salary. Now, he said he had already had to take some pay cuts. So it sounds like you're moving backwards to me. If you keep taking pay cuts, yes, sometimes you have to take a pay cut for the job that you want. I've done that before. I've taken a pay cut to move into a space where I thought I wanted to be in that moment. But it didn't make sense to me to move to take a pay cut. Again, I don't have all of the information, but based on the information they gave us, I don't know if that's the best decision. Especially to move. I've moved before, and every time I've moved, they paid me to move. And Casey, if that's it, then that's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? If he just wants to be out of Huntsville, listen, peace of mind is free. You know what I mean? Not free, but there's no value on that. If he just wants to get out of Huntsville, he wants a different environment, he wants to be around different people, he wants to maybe, grow from that point of view, no problem. I'm 100%, I support that. But if you're moving just because you want to get into IT and you're already in IT, but it's neither here nor there. I wish him well. Again, I do not have all of the information, so I wish him well, okay? Thank you, Yvette. Thank you. My mug says, hello, gorgeous. Thank you. My daughter just moved to be closer to her job. She is now in Stafford, Virginia. Yeah, because your daughter had a little commute on her. Yeah, again, I think that, like, would I move? Yeah, I would move for a job, but I want to make sure that the move is worthwhile. And I mean, Jaylen is still young enough that if it don't work out, he can come home. I mean, we know he has property. He's purchased a home for himself. At least that's what they told us. So he has somewhere to, like, if it don't work out, it ain't like he gonna be stuck. So it's not a horrible thing. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, you know. But anyway, neither here nor there. So next we have Nell and we have Trish meeting up down to the daycare center to talk about Trish's party and what the expectation is. Right, her job. Right, Powerful said her job gave her a moving bonus. Let me tell you something. I've moved for my job. I've moved for a job twice, and both times I got paid to move. The second time I ain't really actually moved, but they paid me. That's a different conversation. But I mean, both times they pay you, but again, that's another conversation. Colorado absolutely has a higher cost of living than Huntsville. Absolutely, it does. All right, so let me say this about Miss Nell. I'm gonna say the same thing about Nell that I said about Melody. Girl, if you got it, spit it out. Listen, I am sick and tired of the Kimmy, Letitia, whatever, Tisha. They're not being transparent. They're not being transparent. They're not being transparent. If you know it, spit it out. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of y'all acting like y'all have a big secret. Well, I'm waiting for them to tell it. Well, I just want them to be honest. I just want them to be transparent. They're not. And they have been very clear. Kimmy, Letitia, Marceau, and Maurice have been very clear about what they're going to tell y'all and what they're not going to tell y'all. And at this point, unless you have video, butt naked, borderline, Pornhub style videos, they ain't going to tell it. So I say to Maurice, I say to the Nails of the world, to the Martells of the world, if you got it, tell it. Now, Martell, you tried. You tried. You put that lady down here and you tried. You were like, they're not being transparent, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate that they not telling it. I don't appreciate that they not putting it out there. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. You said, but Nell was asking them about the interview Martell did with Coleslaw with the side chick. Right. And they gave her an answer. See, here's the thing. When you ask somebody a question and they give you an answer, that's the answer. Now, for Nell to say, I don't believe you, well, you're saying you don't believe me, but I gave you an answer. You asked me what I felt. Kimmy said, child, I didn't watch all of that. She said, I watched about halfway through that thing and I clicked that thing off. That's the answer. Now, you got to ask the right questions if you want to get the right answer. You asked them what they thought about the video, and what they told you was that they didn't watch it. Now, you can say you don't believe them, then ask better questions. And say, okay, well, is this a woman? I mean, did this woman used to work for y'all? Have y'all ever heard in the streets before? Have y'all ever heard about this girl in the streets before? Well, why do you think she would do this? You think she got something against y'all? See, ask the better questions. Now, if you ask me, in my opinion, really, B, do you think they didn't look at that video? I absolutely believe they watched that shit. I believe they got some popcorn and sat down in front of the TV and watched it together. I believe they absolutely watched that shit. And I believe that Marceau and Maurice watched it to make sure that it wasn't nothing there. You understand what I'm telling you? I don't believe that they did not watch it. Just like I don't believe that they didn't have a conversation about it. But when you say to somebody, so what did you think about that interview? And they give you an answer, and you don't like the answer, well, come back with some better questions. But now you want to flip and say, well, I just don't think they're being transparent. Well, what you want to know? And that's what Kimmy kept saying. Kimmy kept saying, but we're going to get to that. Let me not skip ahead, because we're going to get to that. Now, at the end of the day, do I think that Tisha and Marcel have not been as transparent as it relates to the lifetime of the show about issues in their marriage? Absolutely, I believe they have not. Absolutely. You know what? It must be this camera. It's this cup. I think it's focusing on the words "Hello, gorgeous," and then it blurs. The camera is focusing. But here's my issue. I put that on production. See, I put that on production because now, why didn't production sit down with Marcel and Tisha in their confessional and make them talk about it? See, that's on production now, in my opinion. In my opinion. Now, do I feel like upset that Tisha came back at her about not discussing what transpired off the show with Lexi's interview, but wanting them to discuss that? And wait a minute, hold on. According to Tisha, Nell is upset that Tisha came back at her about not discussing what transpired off the show with Lexi's interview, but wanting them to discuss that interview. That must not have come up yet because we didn't see nothing about that. Did I miss that? Symmetry. Did they talk about that on camera yet? Because I didn't see it. So here's what I'm going to say. See, Carlos, this is why your shows are not on the level of a housewife. This is why your shows are not on the level of a housewife. Because let me tell you why. They'd have made them talk about it on Housewives. See, when shit like this happens off camera, when they not filming, either A, they pick them cameras up, and they, even if they only film one scene, they pick them cameras up, or B, when it's time to start filming, trust and believe they're gonna get Teresa, Candace, Giselle, Karen, Nene, they're gonna get them in that confessional, and they're gonna say, so what about that interview that happened that Martell had the alleged mistress of your husband? What about that? Did you watch it? What were your impression? You didn't watch it. Well, what did the streets tell you? Because I know somebody, see, they gonna make them talk about it. See, in my opinion, that's production. It's not Nell's job to make them talk about it because all they're gonna do is what they're doing. Now, do I think that they get away with it? Absolutely, I do. But that's production's job to make them talk, not Nell. So now you've created this friction between Nell and Tisha because you're trying to get Nell to do your job for you. Y'all see what I'm trying to say? She does a Tisha Tuesday online. Oh, okay. But I guess we'll see it on the show then. Oh, they didn't show the conversation. See what I'm saying? I think that, now let's be clear. Let's be and this goes back to what I said at the beginning of my review. The way this shit was chopped up was terrible. We almost there, y'all. We almost there. But let me say this. I think it's not fair to us as viewers to not get that. Do I think that Tisha should have talked about it, Marcel, Maurice, and Kimmy? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't think that was Nell's job to make it come out. I think that was production to sit their asses down and make them talk about it. And if they're not going to talk about it, make it so awkward and uncomfortable and show it. Because I bet you next time around, they'll talk. Now, do I believe that Tisha, because we know that Tisha good at that. Tisha is good at bringing shit up and stirring the pot. The problem is y'all be answering Tisha. So you can't get mad at Tisha, well, y'all always asking us. You answered her. The difference is when y'all ask her, she don't fucking answer. Stop answering her. And then production really will have to step in because something gonna have to give. Somebody gonna have to say something. Something gonna have to give. You see what I'm saying? Now, she said she brought it up because Nell brought up that interview. Tisha brought it up because Tisha messy as fuck. Just like Tisha, we're going to get to that, but I'm going to just say this. Just like Tisha walked into that party and the first thing out her mouth was, why is Trish not by herself in her pictures? I mean, whose birthday is it? And then you see how listen. Tisha been playing this game long enough that even if production don't tell her to say something, she know what to do and she knows what to say to stir up some mess. When Tisha walked into that party and the first thing she did was criticize the party, excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. The first thing she did was criticize that party. See, that's Tisha creating a moment. That's Tisha creating conflict. Tisha been doing, even if production didn't tell her to do it, she been doing this long enough to know, girl, let me walk up in here and start some shit. You see what I'm saying? But again, I put so much of this on production. So we're going to come back to that because we got to talk about what happened at this damn party. Y'all know it took me until this episode to realize that Martell ain't filming with nobody. It took me until this episode to realize that Martell ain't filming with nobody. Martell sitting here having breakfast with his mama. Listen. If I had a drink for every time Martell said Arion's name, I would be drunk right now. He must have said Arion's name 20 times. Sir, I guess you couldn't say her name for 9 years. So now you're gonna say this. Arion, you're gonna be like Beetlejuice. Arion, Ricky, yan. Listen, Martell mama ain't feeling none of this. Martell mama is playing nice, so she got access to her grandchild. That is what this is. That is it, and that is all. Baby mama was very clear. First of all, Arion said, Martell mama said, first of all, she called Arion your baby mama. She didn't say your girlfriend. She didn't say your fiance. She said that's your baby mama. That's number one. Well, yeah, Destiny. Yeah. Number two, she said, listen, I miss my old family. I miss my old family. Meaning I miss Melody and the kids. I miss the way things were. Okay. Then she called your other son a situation. She said, well, until when you had that situation, she called your child a situation. The incident. Thank you, Symmetry. The incident. She called your son an incident. Then she said, you were like, well, yeah, because you wasn't really feeling it. She said, no, I wasn't. I ain't like it. I ain't like her. I ain't like it. I ain't like none of it. Then she said, well, are you gonna marry her? And he was like, I don't know, I gotta make sure everything is right, I gotta make sure everything is good. She said, what you mean? She gonna do what you want her to do? She, after everything she went through to get you? Baby, let me move it over. I don't want to. Marlene ain't playing with y'all. Marble Marlene FOS, just like Nell playing coy about Lance. Marlene knows Martell ain't shit. Well, I think that's two different things, two Ellis's. Because at the end of the day, that's still her child. Like, that's still her child. And she know he, I agree that she knows he ain't shit. Like, when it comes to relationships and stuff, I agree. She absolutely knows that Martell ain't shit. Like, that I give you. But I also believe that she was definitely not feeling Ariane and was not trying to bring Ariane in and accept Ariane. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that. But I also believe that once the child got here, things changed once the child got here. You know? I just feel like Marlene gave Mel hell when they divorced and was going through the mess. Because that's still her child. And you also have to remember too, not you, but I mean in general, you also have to remember too that Marlene's mindset, like Marlene accepted it in her relationship. That's why Martell feel the way he feel. That's why Martell 100% felt like as long as he was taking care of his family, that he should have been able to have his affair. He said that. Martell still don't understand what the problem is. To this day, Martell still does not understand what the problem was. But I think part of that is because he grew up around it. He grew up seeing his mother accept it. So he don't understand what the problem is. He still don't think he did nothing wrong. Now, I'm not saying that just because it's the mama that she should accept bad behavior from her son. But child, we see it all the time. We see these mamas defend murderers, drug dealing, 415 baby mamas out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that makes it okay, but she ain't the first one. And at the end of the day, she's not going to not support her child. And like I said, I think she's doing what she has to do so that she'll have a relationship with her other grandchild. Because Ariane seemed like a petty kind of you-know-what to me, where she'd be like, she don't like me. She can't see my son. Don't take my son over there, Martell. She don't like me. Like, I could definitely see that it's making her life easier. I mean, making Martell's life easier for them to get along. And let's be clear, that was the whole purpose of that scene. The whole purpose of that scene was to make it seem like Marlene and Ariane are getting along. That was the whole purpose of that scene. But it seems to me like Marlene was like, I know what's going on here. I'm not stupid. I'm going to say enough that you get what you need for this scene, but I'm also going to be very clear and let everybody understand how I feel. And I just feel like what wasn't being said is what was being said loud and clear. I can see Marlene not caring about seeing. I don't believe that. I believe she wants a relationship with all of her grandchildren. I don't believe that. I don't believe she doesn't care about seeing that child. I don't believe that. Because I feel like she can truly separate the two and be like, how you got here has nothing to do with me, but you my grandchild. Like, I don't believe that. But I don't know none of these people well enough to say anything definitively. But I feel like I don't believe that. That's just me. But again, what up, Ryan? How you doing, boo? In his mind, the problem is that Mel won't accept Ariane. No, in his problem, well, yeah, I guess. Martell is just crazy. His thought process to me makes no sense. None. Martell understands the problem. He doesn't understand why it didn't work for him. Then I don't feel like he understands the problem. Because if he doesn't understand why it didn't work, then I don't think he thinks it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think he thinks it's a problem. He just don't understand why it didn't work. I don't know. Listen. Martell is one of those people that you can't give an inch. Because the minute you give an inch, then he don't understand why he can't get the whole mile. So, and I'm not going back down the Martell Melody train, but so when Melody did not divorce him when she first found out about the affair, in his mind, I don't know why you mad now. You knew about the affair. You knew, like, it doesn't matter that he promised not to do it again. It doesn't matter that, like, none of the other stuff after that matters. All Martell thinks is, well, you knew I cheated on you and you didn't leave me. So why you leaving me now? All that happened in the middle doesn't compute to him. Just like a kid. You could let a kid stay up late on Monday because the Halloween, the Charlie Brown Halloween special is on, and that kid can't understand why they can't stay up late every night. Well, because I let you stay up late for a special occasion. Yeah, but you let me stay up late Monday, so why I can't stay up late Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? See, he one of them people that can't compute that shit. You can't give him an inch. You can't give him an inch, because then he don't understand why he can't have a mile. Now Martell's mind should be donated to science. Yeah, his thought process is just crazy. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But anyway, child. So that was that, child. Listen, Marlene. So then we get to the party. Ken, hey, Ken. You don't have 2 checkered shirts? They wasn't running a special down to the Walmart, buy one, get one half off. You had to wear the exact same shirt to the party that you wore in the pictures for the party. What is that? You couldn't get a red and black one, a blue and black. You had to wear the same fucking shirt. And Trish. Girl, you look like you was getting ready to go put on some ice skates. That looked like an Ice Capades outfit. Y'all remember the Ice Capades? Did y'all ever go to the Ice Capades back in the day? Girl, that looked like an Ice Capades outfit. What the fuck was that? The outfit you wore. Now, you should have wore the outfit in your pictures. Because I feel like the outfit in your pictures was cuter than that outfit you wore to the party. Well, you know, the sleeves got to be cut out because he got to show off them guns, child. He got to show them guns off, honey. So the men immediately separate, right? So you got the ladies over here and you got the men over here. Now, Tisha's starting that bullshit from the beginning. Tisha is starting that bullshit from the beginning, talking about whose party is this? I mean, you can't take pictures by yourself. You can't, I mean, she had to be in the pictures with you. You can't have these pictures by yourself. What's going on here? And let me say this. I didn't even pay attention to that until Tisha brought it up. Like, I honestly didn't even pay attention to the fact that it was Trisha's birthday party and there were no pictures of just Trish. It didn't even hit me. Y'all did a whole photo shoot and you didn't take not one picture by yourself, Trish. Now, in the grand scheme of things, do I think it was a big deal? I mean, I don't know if I would have necessarily brought it up, but it's a reality show. Why not? From the very first moment of this scene to the end of this episode, the editing was horrible. The way they chopped up all of these conversations. And again, there's a variety of reasons why they may have had to chop stuff up. Number one, whenever you're filming these scenes in public like that, they have to turn the music off because they can't have music in the background that could possibly be copywritten. So that's number one. That's why if y'all ever notice when they like on Housewives and stuff, when they film scenes at like clubs and stuff, it looks like they're dancing, but it doesn't look like they're dancing to the song that's being played. Because they're probably not dancing to the song that's being played. They're dancing to Beyonce and they're playing some, YouTube copyright-free version of Beyonce. You know what I mean? So it doesn't always match. That's why it looks like they're never really dancing on beat. Number two, when you're filming in a place that's full of other people, you notice that the sound was horrible because they probably had those mics so close so they could pick up what everybody was saying over the noise. It's very hard to film in these establishments that have business going on. It's hard enough during the day at a regular restaurant with just regular restaurant conversation. But it's horrible when you're at a club situation where you didn't rent out the whole club. And it does not look like they rented out this whole venue. It looked like they had booths in the venue. So that's number one. The sound was bad. And I don't know if that's why they had to chop it up so much. And they just had to they just chopped out all of the small talk and was like, let's just get straight to the nitty gritty. Because literally it seemed like the ladies sat down and Trisha said what she said about the pictures. And then Tish said, Letitia said, well, girl, when you're ready to do that, like when you're ready to be all in, And they were like, what you mean? I'm ready. They were like, she say she ready. How she ready and she ain't divorced yet? She not ready to marry nobody or she's still divorced. See, ask the right questions. Letitia, the follow-up should have been, well, girl, how you ready? When is the divorce? You can't be ready to marry somebody if you ain't got the divorce yet. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're not asking the right questions. You're not asking the right questions. The next question out of my mouth would have been, well, when is your court date for your divorce? What up, Cruiser? See, that would have been my next question. Because you can't possibly be ready to marry another man and you still divorced to the man you married to. Then on the other side of town, we have Maurice, Marceau, and Ken, and it literally sounds like we walked in the middle of that conversation. There was no beginning to that conversation. It was like, you know what the problem is? I'm like, well, how we get to a problem? Where did this conversation start at? How did we get to a problem? You know what the problem is? Cruiser. Child, she ain't got a divorce. They've been separated for 5 years. If they was going to get a divorce, they'd have got a divorce. Hey, Pat. So she said, so they were like, you know what the problem is? And Kim was like, what they talking about? What you mean what the problem is? And they were like, you're the bad guy. And I was like, how did anybody become a bad guy in this situation? How did anybody become a bad guy in this situation? I don't think she wanted to marry Ken either, honestly. So then she was just like, so they were like, and what Marceau and what Maurice was saying was right, but there was no foundation to it. It just seemed like out of the blue, they fussing at him about being mad at Marquise. Here's the thing. Marceau wasn't wrong. Marceau said, listen, God forbid something happened to Trish right now. Who you think they're gonna call? Unless she carries around paperwork with her that says, don't call my husband, call my boyfriend. God forbid she get into a car accident. God forbid she collapses somewhere and they need to get in touch with somebody. She's got minor children. Her next of kin is her husband. That is her next of kin. So they weren't wrong when they were trying to tell him, listen, you need to take care of your business. Y'all need to figure this out. Because at the end of the day, as the way things stand right now, sir, you on the outside of this. I think Amazon moved in our kitchen. Girl. She could put Ken as a power of attorney, but can only go. But that's what I'm saying. Unless she has paperwork, which it doesn't sound like she does, because Ken would have said it. Ken would have said, well, we took care of all that. We took care of the legal side of that. Like he would have said it. Then Ken gonna have the nerve to say, well, when it comes to relationship advice, I'm not taking no advice from the two of them. Why would I take advice from the two of them? Because they still married to their wives. For as much, for however y'all might think about Marceau and Tisha's marriage or Maurice and Kimmy's marriage, they still married. You ain't married. You can't even get this woman to file for divorce against her husband. Y'all living together. You, according to you paying all the bills, you taking care of her kids, and you can't even get her to file the damn paperwork for the divorce. So why wouldn't you listen to the two married men who are trying to explain to you why you on the outside looking in? Anyway, so while this is going on, we go back over to the ladies. And now the ladies are in the middle of a conversation. Now the ladies are back over there having a conversation. This is where the transparency conversation comes into play. And again, because it is so chopped up, it doesn't make sense. Because it is so chopped up, the conversation doesn't make sense. Because I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get on this conversation about transparency and you being transparent? And like Kimmy kept saying, what do you want to know? Like, just ask the question. See, that's what I said earlier about asking the right questions. If you're telling me I'm not being transparent because I'm not asking them, because then ask me what. And Kimmy kept saying, what is it that you want to know? What is it that I'm not being transparent about? And now, then was your opportunity to say, well, listen, you said you did not watch the video, but you know what was in the video. You know what was said in the video. What conversation did y'all have about it? What did Maurice have to say about it? Did Maurice say it was true or was not true? Had Maurice ever met that woman before? She described what Maurice's office looked like. Was that before? Was that the old office or at the new office? Does it sound like the information she was given was valid? Did they go to Vegas together? See, those are the questions. Now, when as soon as Kimmy opened it up, those were the questions. Because she's clearly not going to admit that she saw the video. Okay, cool. There's more than one way to skin this cat. Well, in the video, that woman said that they took a trip to Vegas. Do you ever remember Maurice going to Vegas with Martell and Marceau? Did that ever happen? See, you ain't got to look at the video for you to know the answer to that question. You see what I'm saying? See, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, cool. You ain't see the video. Cool. Well, I did. So let me ask you some questions. Did you ask Maurice about a trip to Vegas? Tisha, you said you ain't watched the video. Cool, no problem. But Marceau, the lady said this, that, and the other about Marceau. Is that true? Did Marceau go to Vegas with Martell and Maurice? They never took it. Oh, they never took a trip to Vegas. So there was just all of it was a lie. The lady lied about all of it. Oh, well, when you were on Carlos Kings, you said that that Martell was gay. You had proof of that. How you got proof that Martell is gay? What proof do you have that Martell is gay? I mean, do you know a man that claimed he slept with Martell? Oh, you should have. Oh, wow. Like, see, ask the questions. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of it. Because you're not going to get the answer you want by saying, did you watch the video? Clearly, they're not going to admit that. Whether they watched it or not, they're not going to admit it. Okay, cool. So let's get deeper. Let's dig deeper. See what I'm saying? But instead, You now want to just keep saying, but you're not being transparent. You're not being transparent. And then what you did was, by you not getting specific and drilling down, and you just kept saying, you ain't telling it, you ain't telling it, you ain't telling it. Then what you did was you opened up the door for the vet. You opened up the door for the vet, and the vet is Letitia Scott. Okay, Letitia Scott been doing this since season 1. So then what you did was you opened the door for her to throw it back at you. And what did she do? Well, I mean, the streets are talking all over Huntsville that Chris is in them streets. I mean, but I ain't bring that up here. I didn't bring that to the table. I ain't say nothing about what the streets is saying. And what Nell do? Well, I. See, now she got you fucked up. Now she got you hemmed up. Now she got you hemmed up. See, because Tisha's a vet at this. But you could have never got Tisha off the ropes if you had hit her with the specific questions. Then she would have been the one hemming and hawing. You see what I'm saying? But you didn't do that. You let her off the ropes, and then she hit you with the uppercut because she said, well, the streets is talking about Chris. Then you ain't got nothing to say about that. See what I'm saying? Now back over on the other side of town, you got the guys talking with Chris about the NDA. Now let me tell you something. You giving Tisha a lot of credit. All she does is deflect. That's what I said. That's what I just said. That's literally that's what I just said. But that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. When you don't want to talk about something, you deflect and you throw it back. What I'm saying is, you're right. I'm giving her credit because that's what she does. But what I'm saying is, had Nell been more specific with Trish and Kimmy, impressed with Trish and Kimmy, Trish, whatever, she wouldn't have been able to throw it back. That's my point. You're right. You're absolutely correct. I am giving her credit because that's exactly what she did. That's what she did. You're right. Well, okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah, they all right. It's there's an art to that. So then Trish says to Nell, well, I didn't appreciate your husband what he said about my husband needing an NDA. See how she flipped it? So now you got Nell back on defense talking about, well, I can't speak for my husband. I can't speak for my husband. You ask him, and Tish said, and Kimmy tried to stop Trish. Kimmy said, well, the guys are over there talking. The guys are talking about it. Baby, Trish said, okay, let me go ask him then. Let me go ask him then. Now, Nell, you told her to go over there and ask that man that question. You gave her permission to go question your husband. You told her, go ask him. That's what you said. She said, okay, I'm going on over there. Now, Tisha was drunk, and Tisha was in that man's face. She ain't had no right to be in that man's face. But now you gave her permission to go over there, talking about something. She don't, my husband don't answer to Tisha. You told her to go ask him. You told her to go ask him. Now she don't answer to him. Now this is what I'm going to say. Marceau and Maurice. Marceau and Maurice. Y'all let Chris off the hook way too easy for that to be a lie. Y'all, you listen. Y'all let Chris off the hook. Wait, but that whole scene was edited badly too. But I still feel like y'all let Chris off the hook way too easy for that to be a lie. I mean, I'm not saying you needed to cuss that man out, but Maurice was like, yeah, because I had all the smoke for you. I had all the smoke for you. Well, where did the smoke go? Like, was it edited out? What did Chris say that made you no longer want to give him the smoke? Like, what had happened? Because where did all that smoke go? So I'm side-eyeing that. I'm not saying that make it true, but I am saying that I'm side-eyeing it. I'm side-eyeing it. That's pretty much where the episode ended. Tisha and Nell was getting into it, but Tisha, and I'm not giving her an excuse, but Tisha was drunk, child. Lance was there. You know, they congratulated him on his baby child. That's pretty much the end of that episode, child. But anyway, that's what it was. Like I said, I'll be back. We'll do Heart and Hustle Houston. We'll do that sometime this afternoon. And I'm not sure about the panel for the Real Housewives of Miami. I'm about to go text and find out what's going on with that now. He gave them that look that said, if y'all don't stop, I'm going to spill it. Yeah, right. Y'all keep going, I'm going to keep going. Right. He was like, okay, not too much. Not too much, okay? The reality of the situation is, I do not think that Martell and Marcel and Maurice are Boy Scouts, right? But at the same time, I don't know if they are guilty of as much as they've been accused of either. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't know. Maybe Chris said something they had to edit. Yeah, because that scene was edited badly. It was really badly chopped up. Isabel, does it seem like Tisha needs a little liquid courage to tussle with these folks? I don't think she needs the liquid courage because I've seen her do it sober. But I think that when they get into these group scenes, I think she just drinks more than normal. I just think she a lightweight. I think she drinks more than normal, and then she can't handle her liquid, child. Because I've seen her do it sober, so. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna talk to y'all later. We'll be back later on. Like I said, we'll do Heart and Hustle Houston, maybe the Real Housewives of Miami panel and Big Brother. Okay. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.